It's SEC Volleyball from Barnhill Arena in Fayetteville. The Arkansas Razorbacks, fresh off a bye week, are ready for their home opener, welcoming in the Ole Miss Rebels for the first of two matches this weekend. Hello everyone, I'm Brett Dolan with former Miami setter Caitlin Donahoe. Delighted to have you along for the ride. And Caitlin, you don't need me to tell you it is a different year when you look at volleyball, not only in 2020, but carrying over into 21.
Right, going into this season, it's tough to know what to expect, but as we can see on the screen, we have 8 matches this fall, only 4 different opponents for all SEC teams, so that's something a little bit different, and then we'll see at least 12 matches this upcoming spring, but you gotta focus on what you can control and just let the rest happen.
Yeah, the champion will be determined by both the fall and the spring results. Now, Ole Miss trying to replace Emily Straub. She was a kills machine, but against Texas A&M, Aubrey Soltemeyer stepped up.
Yeah, we're going to see Ole Miss really push it to their middles, and especially Aubrey Soltemeyer. She does a really great job behind, as we saw a couple of those slides there.
And for Arkansas, Taylor Head, a freshman, got off to a great beginning.
Yes, great outside hitter. See a couple swings there. Not only a great hitter, but also a great passer as well. Talking to Coach Watson, who's telling us she is one of the best passers he's ever had the privilege of coaching.
There is Coach Watson, his 5th season at Arkansas, coming off the 11 wins a year ago. That was without Haley Durgel, who was injured at the very beginning of the season. So hoping for bigger and better things. And for Ole Miss, they have a brand new head coach, Kayla Banworth, and certainly remember her from her time with Team USA, in addition to playing and coaching at Nebraska. We're ready to crank this one up and get it underway. Arkansas in the white, Ole Miss wearing their red uniforms. First of 2 this weekend, the Rebels and Hawks. Chance for a swing right out of the gates from Jill Gillen. Off the block and down.
Nice job by Gillen there, kind of slowing down her approach. We saw Evans with the set there, libero number 5 in red. Good job by Gillen, just managing her timing. Didn't try to hit the ball straight down, but instead found those high hands.
And Gracie Ryan back to serve for Arkansas. Coming off a sweep at Mississippi State. Had to come back and play 5 sets to win both, but a good beginning. And for Ole Miss, Caitlin, they lost 3-1 to Texas A&M, and trying to reverse those fortunes.
Right, and we're going to see Ole Miss go a lot to Soltemeyer and Schnitta. Schnitta with that kill on the right side there, the lefty who also served, trying to get those points.
Jill Gillen with another kill, and it's a good start for Gillen. Coach Watson was very upfront this week, saying Jill had a rough opening weekend.
Right, we know she's a smaller outside hitter, but can certainly jump. Watson's feedback is just that Gillen needs to play a little bit higher, so finding those high hands of the blockers, finding those deep corner shots, as opposed to always just trying to hit it straight down.
Ole Miss at a system early, just dropped in front of Schnitta.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication there, and that's exactly what Arkansas is focusing on. They're focusing on having those intense serves, getting their opponents out of system, and as we can see there, they were certainly out of system.
Ole Miss gets the swing from Soltemeyer for the second point for the Rebels.
The Rebels love that play. Soltemeyer behind does such a good job going line there. I know she also has that big cross-court shot as well. They're really going to push the ball to her whenever they can.
And Lauren Thompson back to serve. She's happy to be home, a Springdale, Arkansas native, Harbor High School. Same high school that produced Claire Traynor on Arkansas's roster. Well, the Razorbacks not quite sure what it's like to jump out in front again. When they came back over the weekend, the second match, Caitlin, they were down to 5 different match points, in danger of being swept. They win at 31-29. They come all the way back to win in 5.
Great composure by the Razorbacks. Just always keeping your head in it, knowing that it's just 1 point at a time, and you can always come back.
There's Lauren Bars, and you know about these taller setters. At 6'1", she can go up and dump from time to time.
Right, very offensive. setter, especially when she's in the front row. As a jump setter, it's hard to know as a blocker whether she's going to dump or whether she's going to set her hitters.
It's a service there by Saltemeyer. Ole Miss had 13 aces and 26 errors serving in that match against Texas A&M.
Yeah, typically, as you could assume, you'd like to see that flipped.
For Haley Durgel, she's back serving and just happy to be playing here at Barnhill Arena. Injured in the first match a year ago. That one will find some real estate in the back corner for Ole Miss.
Yeah, Durgel, real cornerstone player for the Razorbacks, played a couple of different roles. She's been an outside hitter. Now we see her on the right side. She really just has a good ability of playing on both pins and just putting in work no matter where she is.
And Lauren Barnes, one of two seniors on this Ole Miss team, back to serve. Serving is something Ole Miss is going to put an emphasis on this weekend, trying to get Arkansas out of system early, and it worked.
Right, that's exactly what you're talking about. Nice serve from Bars there. Ryan had to bump set, it was going to the outside, and just a little bit of miscommunication between Head and Pamfield.
And an ace from Bars, so Coach Benworth maybe thinking Arkansas would struggle with serve receive. They've got a couple of serves that Arkansas has not been able to handle in this sequence.
Right, both teams focusing on getting their opponent out of system. We see a nice float serve, but Bowers, she's facing exactly where she's serving it to. Just a nice consistent serve.
Swing from the freshman Taylor Head. Great efforts by Savannah Downing, but Ole Miss after trailing early with a 2-point lead.
Nice touch by Downing. Tough play by Ryan trying to keep it in the court, but it looks like it caught the antenna.
4 straight points for the Rebels, most of those coming with Lauren Bars serving. There in the middle is Panfield. She had a big couple of matches in Starkville, but Ole Miss has now run off 5 straight points.
All right, and those are those points that you have to capitalize on. Great pass by Gillen, high in the middle of the court. Ryan had both options available, just a little bit too low to Pamfield. Couldn't get that tip over the blockers.
And Arkansas gets the service error to break that 5-0 run. Here's Taylor Head, early enrollee back in January. 5'10" freshman out of Florida. There's the big left-handed hitter. Schnitta had that one sent right back. Arkansas, a couple of deflections. Ryan will give Gillen a swing. She tried to go up and over and could not defeat the block. Interesting volley in this sequence. High bump set. Seen a few tips up and over the blocks.
No doubt.
Not for Gillen.
No, Gillen going up aggressive. Some good blocking on both sides here.
Gillen another big swing. And gets the kill for the Razorbacks.
The Ole Miss bench looking a little bit confused. They didn't see the touch, but looks like Gillen found some high hands there to find the deep corner to get a kill.
Yeah, there was 2 simultaneous celebrations, so Lauren Bars over to talk to our official, thinking maybe she was doing her duty, but I don't think she's going to win the argument. Head serving again. Lauren Thompson had the swing off the block. Gillen, so much power behind the sophomore Jill Gillen.
Nice out of system play there again. Ryan doing a good job picking up that tip, digging it nice and high for Evans to get a nice bump set. Perfect set to Gillen, and she's able to find that deep corner, something she's been working on, again, hitting higher. So finding those deep corners, finding those high hands, as opposed to just focusing on hitting straight down.
Gillen kept it alive. Gracie Ryan had a swing, trying to win that joust at the net with Burgott. the Razorbacks have answered that 5-0 run with a 4-0 run of their own.
We see Ryan in the front row as a smaller setter there, doing a nice job on the joust. It's not typically how tall you are, but it's all about timing on when you contact that ball. You typically want to be the second person to touch it, and she did just that, kind of swiped it off their hands and was able to win the joust at, 5'9" or so. Pretty impressive.
I believe we have a challenge, though, on this last point. Arkansas challenging the play. They thought they had won the point and celebrated. Ole Miss was ready to serve before Coach Watson decided to use a challenge. And Coach Watson, over the past couple of years, has had great success. He seems to know exactly when to challenge. We'll see. Take another look here.
He is a great challenger. So I believe we're looking at who touched the ball last.
You see anything why that would be an Ole Miss point?
I don't see it, so I don't know. Maybe we were thinking the Razorback blocker kind of caught it on its way out, but it looks like to me that Ole Miss touched it last, but we'll see.
New socially distanced volleyball with the scores table and such, and I believe it is going to Ole Miss. So the call will stand. The Rebels have a 9-8 lead. Even through the mask, you could see the facial expressions of Jason Watson.
Yes, one of a rare unsuccessful challenges from Coach Watson.
There's Panfield. Ole Miss has been working on their blocking as well. We've seen that pay some dividends. Handled by Downing. Swing from the back row by Head. They've been a touch at the net and a point for Arkansas.
Yeah, it looked like Head found some of those blockers' hands there. The line judge called it out, but we had the down official see that touch, which overrides the line official. So Head comes away with the kill there. Nice out-of-system play by the Razorbacks.
Ole Miss completely out of system there, and Arkansas gets the point.
Nice float serve. They're kind of dropping right before Bug's hands there. It looked like she was just a step away, but it's really hard to forecast where that ball is going to go when it has such a nice float.
Junior Lauren Evans had 23 aces a year ago. Dallas native. Wants to work for the Dallas Cowboys when she's done. Who doesn't want to work for the Cowboys?
Sounds like a nice gig to me. Evans has done such a nice job. She's been another one of those players that you can really stick her anywhere, and she does a great job. I know when she first was on the Razorbacks, kind of worked as a DS and right back. Now she's moved on to the libero position, but can also play outside hitter. So she can really do it all.
And a swing from the middle and a point for Ole Miss to answer. Ole Miss, as a team, was hitting up in the 260 range before that dropped in the last couple of minutes.
We're going to keep seeing Ole Miss push the middles whenever they can. When they're in system, when they're out of system, their middles do a good job of knowing when to, take a big swing and knowing when to hit.
Dumped over by Gracie Ryan. It's a new role for Gracie this year in the 6-1, not sharing time with longtime setter Rachel Rippey.
Yeah, she's been doing a really good job. As we mentioned, she's not the tallest of setters, but again, in the front row, as long as you know your timing, you're working on your technique up there, you can still be an aggressive setter, even if you're not the tallest.
Swing from Schnitter, the left-handed freshman. Panfield will poke one over, playing with that mask on today, and Arkansas can't handle that heat.
Aubrey Saltemeyer does such a good job, as we mentioned, behind the setter, but in front as well, kind of running a one that's a little bit more over to her left than usual, maybe more like a 1.5, finds the open gap on the Razorback side.
It had some smoke on it too, but it carried out by a few feet off the hand of Schnitter. Each team a year ago won a match on their home court. If you're looking for the all-time series, you'll be disappointed. There's quite a discrepancy between the schools. But either way, Arkansas has owned it, and that was an ace from Gillen off the tape and down.
Yeah, it's funny how you can have two different records, but...
And not just off one match, off, 2 or 3 in
yeah.
each column.
Don't know how that played out. I don't know if we'll ever come to an agreement there.
Jill Gillen with too much on that swing and that serve, and an error provides the point for Ole Miss. Arkansas had 23 service errors while sweeping Mississippi State in Starkville, winning both in 5 sets.
Both teams with their heavy emphasis on serving aggressively. I'm anticipating we'll see a couple more errors here, but it's all about the balance of errors to aces. You can miss about 10 to 12% of the time, and you're good to go. And once you get higher than that, then things start to unwind a bit.
There's Elise Crumpton in the middle. She's been getting a lot of playing time, the junior out of Houston, 13 starts a year ago.
Crumpton with a nice swing there, just misses just a little bit wide.
Taylor Head found a lot of room in the back. Off to a good beginning here in set 1. The Rebels and the Razorbacks. Hogs up.
Big arena, so we have a lot of folks. They're spread out, but it is so nice to be back here in Barnhill.
Getting started a little bit later than normal, but for both of these teams with younger squads, and I know Jason Watson felt this, even as bad as the shutdown was, they did get more practices. They got a lot of time before those first couple of matches.
Right, not as much competition, but still, a lot of time to get better in practice.
Evenly matched set 1. Haley Durgel, again, she's back after missing most of last year. Think about Durgel. She had to sit around and watch last year, kind of coach from the bench. Then she gets back, she's healthy. The season gets pushed back with the unknown, would they even play?
Right, she's just been a great teammate throughout, kind of acting as a mentor for the outside hitters, especially Gillen. Again, Durgel can play on the right side, the outside. Last year or 2 years ago, she was playing on the outside, so really just giving some good feedback to Gillen and just helping her team out that way.
And excited to be back on the floor. Arkansas's block. How about Gracie Ryan going up with Panfield to stuff one back down?
Nice setup there. Nice low and over hands by Ryan. Again, it's not how high you get on the net, but it's how far over the net you can press.
Gracie Ryan at 5'9". She's had the joust, she's had the block, she's taken some swings from the middle.
She's a big player up there.
That one was unable to be rolled over by Blair. And Ole Miss doesn't like what they see coming off the timeout halfway through the.
Studying that film isn't just important on looking at your own play, but really looking at your opponent since you're going to be playing them that next day. So I can imagine there's a big emphasis on studying that film tonight. I'm trying to balance that with obviously rest as well because you play the next morning.
Durgel serving for Arkansas after the Rebels timeout. Worked well for Ole Miss. That was a swing from Schnitter. She was a lot of fun to watch, even as Ole Miss lost to Texas A&M 3-1, 3-1. She was a player to identify.
No doubt. Nice lefty opposite there. She does a really good job finding that deep right back corner, which is really difficult to defend.
Freshman from Overland Park, Kansas, in the Kansas City area. So a couple of outstanding players from that area, both Gillen and Schnitter. Arkansas hoping that would go long, and it did.
Nice job by the Razorback blockers there again, not getting too high and reaching for that ball, just getting low and over the net, pressing, and letting your hitters, your opposing hitters hit around you.
There's Taylor Head. Low set, nearly worked. Saved by Gillen. And Ole Miss can't play it. Great effort by Lauren Thompson, nearly ending up in the cardboard cutouts. But Arkansas has opened up. Pretty good sized lead here in set one, and Ole Miss wants to spend another timeout. Caitlin.
Yeah, nice hustle play there by Ole Miss, but it looks like they're just a little bit out of sorts defensively, touching a couple balls that look like they're going to sail out. So I'm sure Coach Barnworth is just using this time to, tell our players to relax, play your volleyball, get in.
I did not play in that first match, and she's got a coat on now and with a mask, but we found out this week she had a bit of a concussion issue. That's why she wasn't able to play at Mississippi State. So hopefully she can get back at some point. Injury is something that you never want to deal with, but in a year where there could be some quarantines and players not available, you really don't want to complicate matters.
No way.
Anna Blair, freshman out of St. Louis, answers.
Nice play there again behind the setter. Ole Miss is really going to push all their balls when they can to the right side. Finding that line shot there really difficult to defend.
That one right out of the hands of Blair looked like it was going to be out.
Now serving for the Razorbacks, number 5, Lauren Evans.
And Lauren Evans finds her way back behind the line, and see Ole Miss with 5 service errors here in this first set. Just about the difference right now on the scoreboard.
Right, that's tough to see, especially they're not really balancing it out with their aces. So I can imagine that, feedback might be take a little bit off to get that ratio a little bit better.
Watch the eyes get big right here out of Schnitty.
Again, finding that seam right there, going to deep right back. The Razorbacks are going to need to make a couple adjustments there to be able to defend Schnitty.
And Jill Gillen got some hands and a kill. And again for Jill Gillen, hit 134 in the first couple of matches. She had 22 attack errors against Mississippi State.
That's tough. That starts to get in your head. You think you're making mistakes and you kind of can't slow it down. I think that's when, your teammates really come in, especially Durgel acting as that mentor, just kind of helping her out, just saying, keep playing your game, keep swinging hard, and because that's the only way you can get out of it.
Lauren Evans couldn't save with the left hand, so Ole Miss trying to climb back late in this first set. Down 4. Schnitty had a couple of powerful serve attempts here in the first set. She put in the ace near the back line. Fantastic
Serve there. We see the top spin serve, high toss, full approach. Those top spin serves are, typically they look very cool and powerful. If you can get those on the deep line like she did the play before, they're almost always money.
Then she returned the favor with a service error, so a little bit of everything, and Arkansas a couple of points away from taking set 1.
High risk, high reward with
Indeed.
that top spin serve.
Lauren Bars tries to set up a swing. Great effort by Gillen. Taylor ahead, then immediately puts one down.
What a great play there. Nice one-handed dig from Gillen. We see the Razorbacks, they have their middle backs a little bit more shallow than some other teams that you may see, so you really have to be good digging overhead, which is what Gillen did there. Set her opposing outside hitter, or her opposite, up perfectly.
Ole Miss needs to answer, and they do. They get the swing from Soltemeyer.
I don't have it in front of me, but I would imagine that at least half of their kills are finding that deep right back corner right now.
Slicing and dicing between a couple of Razorbacks, and Thompson, local native, again serving at Arkansas's set point. And Durgel will end set 1. The Razorbacks take a 25-20.
Great play there by Ryan, finding Durgel to end the match. He kind of just sneaks it in there.
We'll be right back. Arkansas takes set 1. What that is, but it sounds fun. And so does this. Ole Miss, Caitlin, they threw on their costumes yesterday.
Yes, we see.
This is the Razorbacks.
Yeah, some fun stuff there. Then Ole Miss as well.
Now they're supposed to be Maverick, right? The baby of Coach Banworth. So
Yeah, I see the resemblance there.
Yeah, well, yeah, these teams certainly enjoyed Halloween. The Razorbacks did so in that first picture, and then Ole Miss, they've had a lot of fun with Maverick, the young baby of Coach Banworth, who was born, I believe, about a day before the shutdown. So Coach Banworth, she wakes up and she hears, wait a minute, we're sending everybody home. And she's like, what? How long have I been out? It felt like the entire world took a maternity leave, though, with Coach Banworth, right? We all went home for months at a time.
Right. I can't even imagine. It's a crazy time for everyone, and then having a baby, a very new baby as well in the mix, it can't be easy.
He's here someplace, is Maverick, but the problem was he came 4 weeks early, so they were about to close on their house. They're having a baby, there's a pandemic, there's a shutdown, and then a few days later they were able to finally close, and I would imagine that was an interesting move.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Coach Banworth, though, she felt like her team against Texas A&M played 3 really good sets. Problem was they weren't on the same night. So now they're playing from behind after losing set 1, 25-20.
Right, we've heard both of these coaches say, it's all about who plays better, longer, right? It's all about stringing together those points. And it's good to play those 3 matches well, but it shows that you have the potential, but just who can do it better, longer.
I think I saw those Olympic rings on her arm from her Olympic days. Longtime Team USA performer. Ole Miss serving first with Schnittä. Great effort right out of the gates by Taylor Head, played over by Ryan. Barr sets up Soltemeyer. Bodies on the deck right out of the gates here in set 2. And I believe that was over on 4. More lift.
Nice job by the Rebels there, especially number 5, Schnittä, with that topspin serve, getting Arkansas out of system to start, and then kind of the rest just falls into place.
She starts swinging, you just hope one carries long, and it did there.
Right, again, as we keep talking about that topspin serve, high risk, high reward. You'd hope to string together a couple more points, keep the pressure on the Razorbacks before missing long.
Ole Miss is actually hitting better than Arkansas. Razorbacks at 241. And Gracie Ryan serving. You could just see that one looking good for Ole Miss on the set.
Yeah, Schnittä coming out of middle back there. That what we call a pipe typically in the back row. Hitting so well. Again, still finding that deep right back corner, really going after Arkansas's right backs.
Lauren Thompson serving. Jill Gillen gets the running start, and she found about 8 feet of open real estate.
What a great play there. Nice serve by the Rebels, but Gillen handles it well. You can see she's coming from right back, but kind of swoops into the middle to run a 2-ball and finds her opposing team's right back corner.
As if the sea just parted there for Gillen.
Awesome play.
Bars sets up Soltemeyer, coming off 14 kills in game 2 last weekend against A&M.
Again, Soltemeyer so good behind, finding that line shot there. So she's running behind. She's on her team's right side pin. If I were the Razorbacks, I'd almost kind of dedicate over to that pin because they seem to be using her quite a bit in all situations.
It's Maggie Miller serving, sophomore from Houston. And Ole Miss with another point, opening up a 2-point lead.
Good block there by Bars on the right pin, but the Razorbacks need to do a little bit better job communicating. That looks like it was certainly high enough to dig that ball, just a little bit of miscommunication.
You see the 3 blocks. That's something Ole Miss worked on this week in practice. A&M hit 376 in one of those matches. And already the blocking has paid dividends for the Rebels.
No doubt, whatever they did in practice, it's looking like it's working here in the second set. Again, we see those hands so far over the net, doing a really good job of pressing.
Ole Miss enjoyed a 3-point lead in the first set before losing by 5, and the blocks paying big-time dividends in set 2.
Seeing 3 straight down blocks there. But it's really all starting with the serve behind the line. The Rebels doing a good job keeping the pressure on the Razorbacks. It makes it a lot easier for the blockers to anticipate where the ball is going to go when setter Gracie Ryan only has a couple of options.
Good point. Another big effort in the scouting report. Arkansas able to answer, though. Razorbacks hitting 152.
Saw the Razorbacks there, a couple of points out of system. Those are those balls where you're looking for those high hands, you're looking for those deep corners. Maybe not necessarily going for the kill, but just trying to get your opponent out of system.
And an ace from Crumpton. 13 starts a year ago for the junior, another Houston native. Barr is able to gather Schnitta. Gillen has to go back and save, and then poked over by Head. Saw Bars try and dump earlier. Back row swing from Thompson off the hands of Gillen.
Nice playing by the Rebels there, and good court awareness by Bars, knowing that Crumpton is playing that left back position. And then we see there, we've seen a lot of success for Ole Miss running that pipe. So that's that middle back player is going up for the swing. And when they're out of system, you can expect the ball to go to middle back.
There's Lauren Bars. Taylor Head got some hands and got a kill.
Great play there by the Razorbacks. Good pass by Gillen, giving setter Gracie Ryan all three options. She makes a nice choice going to the outside. It looked like the blockers weren't quite there, so that gave Head just a little bit more range in her shot, and she's able to find that deep corner.
It's Haley Durgle. Bars gets the assist, chasing 3,000 on her career. And Ole Miss has it rolling here in set two.
Bars, the senior setter, does a really good job of kind of managing the game for the Rebels. She is a good offensive player in the front row. She can block. She does a nice job in right back as well, playing defense. Just a nice, steady player for the Rebels.
Arkansas a bit out of system again, and lucky to play that one over from Head. Not get it stuffed back. There's Panfield. And Schnitta can't keep it in play.
Schnitta just missing wide, but what a nice looking swing there. It had to be just a couple of inches or so. Good job again by the Razorback blockers, not reaching, just going straight up and letting the hitters hit around you.
She was pointing to her wrist where it made contact. It was all wrapped up on that left hand, left wrist.
Just missed there.
Gillen. Must kill Gillen to go off speed from time to time and not be able to just swing and just power one down like this. So much power. Even Coach Banworth said this week, she said Gillen's a total stud. She said she might be the best in the league, and then she added inch for inch.
Yes, she's a great outside hitter, inch for inch or not. Doing a nice, really nice job this year, as a sophomore, learning when to, go all out and get that kill, and when to kind of manage the ball. So when to find those deep corners, those roll shots, just knowing when to mix those in.
Schnitta awfully high in that swing, maybe hoping to get some hands, but Arkansas has come back to tie it up. Arkansas has never led here in set two. Bars cross-court sets. And Ole Miss answers what was a 3-0 run.
Looked like the Arkansas blockers were there. Maybe just a little bit too late. You could see it looked like it was going to be a block, but it ended up falling on the Razorback side. So maybe just need to press a little bit more.
Arkansas out of system, out of whack, and an ace for the Rebels. Back to a 2-point lead.
Really great serve by Bug there, finding that what we call the 5-6 seam. So it's in between left back and middle back. Traditionally, you'll want your libero to take that ball to release Gillen so she can just worry about hitting. and found a little bit of miscommunication there.
Another swing from Gillen, dug by Bug. Sent up by Evans. Gillen will try again. Arkansas with a pretty good effort to save, and then Gillen couldn't finish. Bars tried to dump over. Interesting volley here, and we'll continue on. The joust is won by Ole Miss.
Tough play there. Really good defense on both sides. You saw a high, tight pass. Ryan went up to try to dump the ball, but the Rebels were all over that play there.
That was not going to work.
And that was not going to work. It looked like kind of everyone knew that was happening, but you know, it's never easy as a setter up there with those tight balls, but got to push those ones to your hitters.
Powerful swing from Panfield. 27 kills and a .322 hitting percentage in those first two matches.
Panfield doing a really good job finding those seams. We see that she's hitting behind the setter there, something she does really well.
It's Lauren Evans serving for the Hawks. And Lauren Thompson able to get the kill. She had 9 kills in that first match against Texas A&M. Back to a 3-point lead for the Rebels. That was the good serve of the pair from Schnitter. Up and over from Crumpton. That one will not be saved. Downing got her arms on it, but could not rein it in.
Good playing by the Rebels here. You can see that the Razorback blockers are a little bit out of sorts only because they're managing the ball so well. So Bars has both of her options there. It's hard to know where she's going to set it, so it's making those Razorback blockers just a little bit late, which makes it a whole lot easier for the Rebels hitters.
Saw the good one from Schnitter, and that was the service there, back and forth.
Yes, it looks like we've seen that a lot today.
Goes back to what Jason Watson was talking about in our conference call this week. Who can play well long enough and be clean to get off a little bit of a run to win a set, to win a match? Ole Miss with some better swings, though, hitting at a 269 clip and leading set 2 by 4 points.
Rebels doing a nice job finding, just some touches on the block and also hitting deep as well, which is what you want as a hitter.
Gillen got the first and last touch for a Razorback point.
Nice play by Gillen there. Either set was a little bit low or maybe Gillen was a little bit late, but does a good job managing the ball, tipping it, as opposed to, taking a big swing.
Put one right into the net, so it's back to a 4-point lead for Ole Miss. Timeout on the floor. Tracy Ryan's Razorbacks won the first set, but Ole Miss leading set 2, 15-11. Feels like a much more crisp and well-played set, though, from Ole Miss.
No doubt, especially on the blocking side. We've seen at least 4 straight down blocks, which has really contributed to this Ole Miss lead.
Gillen cartwheeling just to keep that in play, and then it ends up resulting in a Razorback point.
Nice work by Head there on the outside, finding that sharp cross-court shot even when she's out of system. So that ball is much higher than it usually is, so she does a good job slowing down her approach, managing her timing, and finding some open court.
Crumpton had an ace in her last service try. She just gets another.
Nice job by Crumpton. We see that jump, float, serve. You can tell she's so focused behind the service line. It looks like she's going after that 5-6 seam for the Rebels. So again, behind or in between middle back and left back, kind of get those players talking to each other.
Bars will set it up again for Schnitter. And the Rebels win the point.
Look like Pamfield was just a little bit late there. Never easy as a middle blocker. I don't know how they do it going side to side so well. But Schnitt was able to kind of just sneak it in there. Schnitta, rather, pardon me.
Got a feeling she and Gillen have played together in some youth tournaments back and forth in the Kansas City area.
I'm sure, especially they're on opposite sides of the net of each other. Schnitta as a right side and Gillen as an outside hitter. I'm sure they've, like you said, seen each other in a couple of matches.
See the 8 kills for Taylor Head. Arkansas has its hitting percentage up over 200 now, but Ole Miss a little bit below 300. And Durgle way long on that serve.
It's not going to be easy for the Razorbacks to string together some points with those serves going out.
Here's Anna Bear. Another freshman on this team, another Missouri native. Coming off the slide was Panfield. That's something we saw her do a lot early in her career. Former basketball player.
Yes, you can see the slide approach. It's a little bit similar to a layup. You're going off of 1 foot. That inside foot stays on the ground as she swings behind the setter. Does a nice job finding the donut hole on the Rebels court.
Bars with a long set for Thompson. That gave the Razorbacks plenty of time to identify where that swing was coming from.
Nice job by Head there, getting the Rebels out of system. Everyone knows that the ball is going to the outside hitter. That gives the Arkansas blockers a lot more time to set up and put up a nice block like we just saw.
Arkansas has been running uphill since the early moments of this match, but they've come back to tie it up in set 2.
Again, another great play there by Pamfield. So the Rebels were in system there, but Pamfield does a really nice job with her eyes, identifying where the ball is going to go and just pressing that hand in. Again, middle blocker position is not easy, and she's doing a really good job moving laterally to get those blocks.
And Ole Miss ends the brief 3-0 Razorback run and regains the lead.
Thompson doing a nice job on the outside for the Rebels. Pardon me. You can tell they keep going back to her, even though she got a couple stuffs there. Barr's still trusting in Thompson to put the ball away.
Avery Bugg serving. Her sister playing professionally in France. Mom was a volleyball player at Tennessee. Chased down by Ryan. Back row swing by Head. And it worked.
Great out of system play there. Nice set by Ryan running off the court there. She knows she always has a hitter in the back row, whether it's Head or Gillen, both outside hitters playing middle back, so they should always be on ready to hit that pipe ball, so that high back row attack.
I do not believe Arkansas has had the lead at any point here in the second set until now.
Speaking it into existence. Nice serve by Evans there.
Ole Miss spent a couple of timeouts in the first set. I believe they're going to take another one here. It felt like, for the most part, Caitlin, in this second set, the Rebels had a much better effort than the frustrating part. And again, Texas A&M will certainly get their fair share of wins. Back at it this weekend with a couple of games here in Arkansas. Even the band is distanced inside Barnhill. And I notice an absence of instruments, right?
Yes, I certainly don't see as many. Still have the guitar there and some drums. Missing the others.
I got to make up for it with the dancing moves rather than playing the instruments.
Yes, it's more of a dance team as opposed to a band.
Yes, it is.
They can do it all.
That gentleman's the hardest working guy, though, in this building.
No doubt.
He knows it, too. So Arkansas has come all the way back to take their first lead here in the second set, and serving is Evans as things got awfully quiet for the time being. Ole Miss trying to answer, and Arkansas returns the favor of a block and a point.
What a great block by Ryan there. As we take a look at the replay, those hands are just getting so far over the net, not necessarily high, but just pressing on her opponent's side. That block goes straight down.
She gets in that front row. She wants to be a hitter. She wants to be a blocker.
Yeah, she's certainly an aggressive setter, which is something that you want to see, especially as a smaller player. You know, you got to act big up there, and she's certainly doing that.
Fourth service error for the Razorbacks provides a point now for Ole Miss. Ole Miss, though, has had 8 service errors, and they can't afford any here. Schnitter's had a handful of those. That was the A-plus effort in the fastball. Gillen went with the left hand, but it hit the antenna. We're tied again.
We see that serve-receive ball a little bit tight to the net. Your focus, you know, when you're passing those top spin serves, is to take it even more off the net. Since it has so much power, it's going to drift tight, and as a result, the set was just a little bit too far outside.
And that is the 9th service error that puts Arkansas back in front.
Now serving for the Razorbacks, number 21, Gracie Ryan.
Seeing a little bit of everything out of Gracie Ryan, now back behind the service line. Soltemeyer saved it. Crumpton had the swing. Hands everywhere at the net. Gillen will try and go off them, but it ends up out of bounds, and Arkansas back to a 2-point lead.
A nice job by the Razorbacks there, just sticking with it. We saw a couple tight plays at the net. Can get a little bit sloppy there, but nice dig by Head to, you know, just dig high and off the net so the Razorbacks are able to run their offense.
Ole Miss needs an answer. And Soltemeyer long on that swing.
A rare error by Soltemeyer behind. It looked like that set may have been just a little bit too low, resulting in an out of
this weekend. And of course, that first road trip gives the complications of either a bus or a plane, a hotel, trying to figure out how to eat or meet as a team, locker rooms, buses, everything that comes with it.
Right, everything is different, and we're just trying to figure it out as we go.
Arkansas trying to get towards set point. Ole Miss needs a late rally here in the second. Gillen sets herself for a swing. And that one was long from Thompson, and Arkansas is indeed at set point.
Good job by the Razorbacks, keeping the Rebels at a system there. You can just kind of force those attack errors.
Gracie Ryan trying to win it for the Hawks. Thompson. Here's a swing from Durgle. She won the first set with the kill. A little bit off balance. Gillen went up and over, and Arkansas has won the first 2 sets.
What a nice play by Gillen there. Nice court awareness, finding some open space. Again, you don't always need to hit it straight down to get a kill.
Big smile from Gillen. The Razorbacks have won both sets by the same score, 25-20. We started this telecast talking about Ole Miss needing some swings and some kills from Soltemeyer.
Right, and Ole Miss is, you know, following through on what we thought. They're going to push it to Soltemeyer whenever they can. She's doing such a great job with 5 kills and hitting 400 so far.
Speaking of kills, Taylor Head has 9 for Arkansas, hitting .438.
Hitting .438 as an outside hitter is incredible. Both outside hitters for Arkansas, both Head, as we see on the screen, and Gillen hitting over 400, which is almost unheard of as an outside hitter. Again, you're getting so many attempts, so we typically see something around 250 or so. So almost twice as good as what we'd expect.
Well, she's fired up. She's dancing, and I would too after that opening weekend in Starkville.
Right, 2 double-doubles, or double-doubles in all the matches that you've played in your collegiate career is certainly a pretty nice start.
All right, Caitlin, what do the Rebels need to do here in the third set? It felt like they had a great first 2/3 of set 2, but Arkansas finished on a 5-0 run.
Right, we talked about their emphasis on blocking, which I think they're executing well. I think they just need to manage those service errors. Those are just free points for the Razorbacks. They've had 9 service errors throughout those first 2 sets. I mean, that's just too many. You're kind of ruining your own momentum. when you just hit those balls out. You need to give Arkansas the opportunity to make the mistake on their side.
Gracie Ryan had the big service run to end set 2, begin set 3 for the Razorbacks. Gillen goes into the score table and saves it. Well, Gillen wants to finish it now after making that great dig, and then she gets the kill.
What a fantastic job by not only Gillen, but by the Razorback defense as well. You can see nice dig by Evans, just getting it up in the air so somebody can get it. And, you know, that somebody was Gillen, just diving into the stands as well as putting that ball away.
You like to say she's all over the floor, but she's all over the floor and then the out-of-bounds area, too.
She's on the floor. She's at the coach's table. She's everywhere.
That was a great over from Lauren Thompson. But Arkansas still gets the kill and an early 2-0 lead.
I can imagine we're going to see Arkansas try to push those middles as much as they can, try to get those, just the middles involved, so it puts a little bit more pressure for the Rebel block. That's been so good this afternoon.
Feels like Gracie Ryan's been serving for 20 minutes. Gillen, a little bit off balance. And boy, Ole Miss all kinds of out of system and out of whack.
Right, we see Gillen with that off-speed shot. Those are those balls that the Rebels need to, you know, take advantage of and execute perfectly. That should be an easy dig, but instead it was kind of just a crazy pass to the right side pin.
Durgel with some power. No hands at the net, and she made the Rebels pay.
Good serve by Ryan there, setting that play up. That aggressive float serve makes Thompson overpass just a little bit too tight, and that's an easy opportunity for Durgel to put it away.
She's still serving.
She's still serving. It's been 4 long points.
Then had the 5-0 run to end the second set, too. Now that'll be broken, and Ole Miss needed the swing from their talented freshman Samantha Schnitta.
See Schnitta with that really sharp angle shot there. We haven't seen a lot of it so far. She's really been finding that deep corner. Nice job by Schnitta to kind of switch it up to find some open court.
Off the tape, but Head was able to go down low to get it. Block was sent back down by Crumpton, but not put down. She'll try again. How about the one-handed swing from Thompson? Great effort by Ole Miss. How is this point going to end? Like most do with Jill Gillen.
Nice play by Gillen there, finding some hands. Some really good defense by the Rebels. Couldn't quite finish it. See Gillen finding, looked like Saltemeyer's left hand there to get the kill.
Yes, Jill Gillen, to use one word to describe her attitude, and it shouldn't be surprising, intensity.
She is intense all the time, whether she, you know, even when she's tipping or an off-speed ball, she goes up the same way every time, which is what you want to see. Obviously, you don't want to give away that you are tipping or roll shotting, but she still goes up with that huge jump every single play.
Coach Banworth will challenge, and I think if this was the first set, maybe she might just play on, but in this third set, you might as well use them. You might as well see.
Taking another look. I remember real time, I think I saw a touch. Kind of tough to see on this angle.
I have no idea how you volleyballers handle these replays at the net, because even the super slow-mo doesn't help me much.
Yeah, we saw the line judge on the Rebel side call it out. However, the down referee called a touch.
Let's take one more look. Did it hit some hair?
I'm thinking it hit the right hand of Thompson and maybe hair as well.
Spans Asia and Europe. It's near the Caspian Sea. It's west of Armenia and Turkey, south of Iran, in case you're curious. But
yes,
apparently, freestyle wrestling is their national sport. Chess is pretty big, but they are huge into women's professional volleyball.
That's awesome. That's some good trivia knowledge there.
And she wins the challenge. So you got some As a base-on knowledge and a big important point for Ole Miss.
2 for 1.
Tell you what, it's a long way from Dubuque, Iowa. I know that. Whenever you're going to span both Asia and Europe. Right now, Coach Banworth, though, has another question. She was talking with our official. Not sure if they had already rotated, thinking Arkansas had won that point.
I think so. I believe they had the wrong server behind the line, so rotating back, like you said, to have Schnitta to serve.
And the service there is going to put Ole Miss in double digits in that category.
Yeah, we talked about the topspin serve being high risk, high reward. However, you're still, even as a topspin server, you're in that 12 to 15% error range. And we've seen quite a few more errors from Schnitta tonight, or this afternoon so far.
Seems like we saw that from Straub the last couple of years from Ole Miss. She was such a talented player and a left-hander, I believe, but Ole Miss wins that point. It's do or die time here in the third set for the Rebels. If they need any inspiration, it would be that Arkansas, in their last match, had 5 different match points they were facing, down 2-0, and come back and win 31-29, and then finish out the win in the match.
Yes, what composure from the Razorbacks, you know, just taking it 1 point at a time. Clearly, volleyball isn't a timed game, so, you know, you're just keeping that in mind. Each point is, you know, separate from the last, so you just take it 1 at a time.
I told Coach Watson I watched it on replay, knowing the result, and I was still expecting them to lose, and he said you were wondering when we were going to crank it up and get going. Well, right now, Arkansas starting to stretch their lead here in the third set, looking for a sweep. Crumpton's done a nice job serving.
No doubt. She has just, you know, a jump float serve, which doesn't look like anything fancy, but it really is. Those are really tough to pass if you can get it right. You can see there, kind of just floated, a little bit of miscommunication for the Rebels. We have.
Oh, she's fired up.
Oh, yeah. It's a middle blocker, you know, having a lot of fun serving.
And locked up Schnitta, and Arkansas ran off the last 5 points to get the win. But right now, Ole Miss needs to solve the serving of Crumpton. And unable to do so, the swing from Soltemeyer was out of bounds.
Looked like everything was going right for the Rebels there. Great pass by Bug. Nice jump set by Bars. Kind of caught Panfield at the net, putting Soltemeyer in a one-on-one situation, but she just missed wide.
Ole Miss needs an answer. Durgel able to keep it alive, or did she? Is there a lift? There was.
Looks like a lift from Durgel there. Nice court awareness by Soltemeyer. She knows that Crumpton is playing that left back position, something she's not used to as a middle block. So instead of, you know, going for that tough kill, she just tips it right over the block. It's hard to handle even as a defensive specialist, let alone a middle blocker.
This is Maggie Miller back to serve for Ole Miss. Interesting little spin there from Panfield. Durgel. Taylor head up over off a handful of different hands. Played over by the Rebels. Footwork was a little bit off there from head. Durgel to Ryan, right back to Haley. Durgel, and Arkansas wins the points.
Nice, smart play there by Durgel, finding those hands on the other side. She was a little bit, you know, off speed, kind of hitting on her way down. So instead of trying to hit straight down, she just finds some high hands instead.
Haley Durgel, so driven. She's going to graduate and still have 2 years of eligibility remaining, getting the last year back. But what Coach Watson said I thought was great. It's one thing to be driven. Sometimes those are not the best teammates. That's not the case with Haley.
Right. She's still, you know, last year not being able to play, taking on that mentor role for her fellow pin hitters, which is something that you really want to see. You know, it's never easy being out, but still being able to give back and contribute is really awesome to see.
Ole Miss with a much-needed point. Back to service, Lauren Bars. Again, the freshman Taylor Head answers immediately for the Razorbacks.
What a nice swing. We see that wrist away shot, meaning that it goes to that really sharp corner as we take another look on her second step when the ball's in Ryan's hands. Not an easy ball to defend for the left back, Bug.
Now Head serving. Her well-rounded game is impressive. You mentioned Coach Watson talking about her as a passer, seeing her serve, and obviously very adept around the net.
Right, she's doing a good job on serve receive, digging as well, and of course putting the ball away too. Just a really nice, just overall great player. 11
kills, a .429 hitting percentage, added the ace.
And a dig as well.
And a dig. And now Gillen going for a swing. Dug by Evans. Gillen will try again. We have a double.
Looked like it was a double contact by Ryan. Really nice dig by Evans down the line. It's such a short distance away from the right pin hitter to whoever's in left back. She digs it nice and high, just a little bit too far off the net for Ryan to get to cleanly.
Here's Anna Bear for the Rebels. That's when Gillen is so dangerous. And look at the intensity right there. She knew that one was just in her wheelhouse where she could climb the ladder and pound one to the floor.
The Razorbacks like to run that fast offense, but when that ball's just a little bit higher, so when the Razorbacks are out of system, you'll see the ball's just a little bit higher to the pin, and that's where Gillen really shines. Those high, tight balls, she can really put it away.
She plays like somebody that grew up around a couple of brothers that put her through her paces, doesn't she?
She certainly does.
She'll try again. Off speed that time. She'll get another swing. This time goes with the power. What an effort by Savannah Downing.
You see Downing and right back there getting all the love and deservingly so. Nice one-handed dig.
She get a kill for that as well?
Yeah, I think that's a 2-for-1. Dig and to kill as we take another look.
Look at this. Now, put this into perspective. Savannah Downing grew up in Carthage, Missouri. Her and her mom used to come to games here. It was her dream to be a Razorback. She ended up going to Iowa Western for a couple of years in JUCO. Here she is, and that may have been her most impressive moment. The swing was long, and Ole Miss gets the point. You come here as a kid, you want to be a Razorback, you go to JUCO, you wonder if it's ever going to work out. It's a journey.
No doubt. We saw last year she had that libero jersey. There's been a lot of competition on the Razorback side. Who's going to wear that libero jersey? But, I mean, right back is still an important position as well, and we can see she's making a great contribution.
And an ace off the hands of Gillen. So back is Avery Bug again. Again, his sister playing professionally in France. Fourth ace for Ole Miss. That one not handled cleanly. And Ole Miss just, the miscommunication did not look good there between Thompson and Bug.
Right. Ole Miss placing a heavy emphasis on serving tough. They got the Razorbacks out of system, but it's, you know, what you do with that out of system ball. That was kind of a freebie by Head, but just a little bit of miscommunication on the Rebel sides makes it so that they can't put it away.
Ole Miss would really like to get Ryan off the service line. She had the last 5 points to win set 2, started set 3, ran off 3 straight points. Powerful left-handed arm of Schnitter.
Yeah, we saw that set was high and inside for Schnitter, the lefty, which can get pretty deadly. We need to see Gillen scoot in just a little bit more so she's not able to find that seam.
That's the 11 service errors now in the Rebels. And these points become even more precious as we get towards the end of this third set with Arkansas trying to sweep.
Right, you know, the Rebels, you're trying to fight back or trying to swing, string some points together. You might see them laying off a little bit to try to get those going.
Gillen has those fist pumps rolling. Young lady who played every single set last year, all 113 sets. Couldn't keep her off the floor. And Ole Miss is, you probably need to help me on that, but she's just got him strapped in as she goes through practice.
Yes. She was saying, he's just such a temperate baby that it's just easy. He likes, look around at his, like you mentioned, 20 big sisters.
Big sisters, yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, a ton of fun for everyone.
Arkansas closing in on a sweep with a few more points. They'll be that much closer, and there's one of those. The block between Durgle and Crumpton.
This is a rotation for the Razorbacks with their biggest blockers. We see Durgle, Crumpton, and Head in the front row. Those are their biggest players, so I'm sure they'd like to stay in this rotation to tally up a couple more blocks.
And that one's long. Rebels need a rally here in set 3. Thompson from Harbor High School.
Thompson, an outside hitter, doesn't have quite the hitting percentage as I'm sure she'd like to see, but she's been doing a really good job behind the service line for the Rebels.
Gillen hit it up into the rafters, and Evans can't save it. She had a long run to go skidding across the floor. Back-to-back points for Ole Miss.
Good effort there by the Razorbacks, but again, just some nice consistent serving by Thompson. The Rebels as a whole, 11 service errors, which is really tough to win volleyball games with so many errors only in the third set here. It doesn't look like she's doing a lot behind the service line, but she's keeping the Razorbacks out of system, which makes it a whole lot easier to string together some points.
Yeah, that's a lot for 2.5 sets, especially when you're trying to come from behind in at least 2 of the 3.
Right, we know there's a big emphasis on serving aggressive for the Rebels, but it's all about finding that balance between errors and aces. And when you're not getting aces, you can't make those errors.
Arkansas a bit out of system though, and the last few points, and a mistake on the swing from Crumpton. That's 4 points in a row by Ole Miss. And I think Arkansas is going to spend a timeout. Things have been going swimmingly for the Hogs, but not wanting to lose this lead at 1.8 points in set 3. In fact, at one point, I think it may have been 9. They'll call a timeout. Think about this Arkansas team, though, Caitlin. If they can win today, if they hold on, whether it's in set 3 or 4 or 5, they would be 3-0 in league play. They won just 5 SEC matches all of last year at 5-13.
Yes, that'd be, a fantastic way to start the
staple. It's a long time between now and April.
Yes, only having those 16 at-large bids, makes it that much tougher when you're in a difficult conference with so many good teams.
Rebels have run off 4 straight points, though, with Thompson serving. Cross-court set for Taylor Head, and Arkansas inching a little bit closer.
Nice play there by the Razorbacks. Perfect pass by Gillen. It gives Ryan all 3 options. She decides to push it all the way out to the pin, putting it right in Head's wheelhouse to get the kill.
Crumpton's had a nice run with those drop serves. Big swing from Aubrey Soltemeyer, junior from Fredericksburg, Texas.
Soltemeyer getting back in the groove a little bit here. Again, running that behind the setter play that she loves so much.
More Taylor Head. Ole Miss able to play it. That was awfully easy for Bailey Scott in the middle, just to go up and stuff that one down.
The Razorbacks are not making it easy for them, just passing everything a little bit too tight. Doesn't even give Ryan a chance to go up there, especially since she's coming from the back row.
Razorbacks feel some momentum swinging away. As Ole Miss tries to climb back here in set 3. See if Taylor Head gets the swing from the pin. She does. Dug nicely by Miller. And another Rebel point. They were down 9 at one juncture of this third.
The Rebels are doing a good job really keeping the pressure on the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks are still passing just a little bit too tight, makes it really difficult to run your offense, makes you that much more predictable and just easier to defend.
They'll go quickly to the middle and put down by Panfield.
What a great play. That's the pass that they're looking for. Ryan's able to easily set it to Panfield, who finds that cross-court shot and puts it away. What a nice swing.
Looks like Liz's mom is here from Florida. She enjoyed that one, and it's easier for these parents when they can come in for 2 matches in 2 days. And Durgle left that one short out of her hand. Durgle will exit. Savannah Downing in. Lauren Barrs back to serve for the Rebels. Ryan tried to send it over on 2. And the swing was long and out of bounds.
A rare error from Schnitta on the right side. She's been doing such a good job starting the match, finding that deep right back corner, and then kind of switching it up halfway through the second set, finding the sharp cross. But there, kind of looks like it may have gone off her wrist or something weird as it sailed long.
She's had that thing wrapped up and over the block from Carvacho. More Jill Gillen.
Again, that's where Gillen is so deadly. I see a lot of good sets from Evan, the libero. So when Ryan takes that first ball, it's the libero's responsibility to take that second set. Evans being such a dynamic player, she's a great digger, a great setter, and we see a great set from Evans to Gillen to put it away.
That one was not close from Taylor Head, so just when Arkansas was starting to close in, they've had a few service errors from Head and Durgle. Here's Anna Bear. Panfield had it sent back. Gillen will try again. And there's the block from Ole Miss. Bailey Scott's been involved in a couple of points.
Scott doing such a great job closing that block. I've said it earlier, it's not an easy job being a middle blocker, but she gets all the way over, has those hands low and over into the seam. Doesn't give a lot of room for Gillen on the outside.
Rockwall, Texas native. Arkansas's passing again has let them down just a bit here in this second half of the third set. This is a big point for Ole Miss if they're to continue on in this match, this set. Downing to Ryan, right back to Gillen, off the hands, off the cutouts, point Razorbacks.
Such good composure from Gillen. Not only that last play, which we'll take another look at here, the big swing, but the play before that, she was out of system. She finds the deep corner, which gets the Rebels out of system and makes a nice, easy play for the Razorbacks.
Lauren Evans trying to win this one to send the Razorbacks to set point, match point. Swing from the back row from Head. And Ole Miss able to drop that one in front of Gillen.
Never easy. It looked like it went off the hand of Crumpton there. She turns around. You never know if you're the blocker. you know, it's right behind your back. It almost hits you. You never know if you should play it or if your defender should grab it. Never easy.
Here's Bug. That time Gillen was denied, and here come the Rebels.
Again, great job by the middle blockers there. For the Rebels, we see Saltemeyer get all the way to her pin blocker. Nice setup. It actually looks like Schnitte gets the block there, but good job just closing the block.
That was interesting from Head. And the double call. Jason Watson just waiting for him to call a timeout. He'll spend one here as the Rebels have closed to within one, trailing 2-0.
Rebels doing a nice job here late in the third set, putting the pressure on the Razorbacks serving wise. So, you know, we're not seeing any crazy aces or anything, but just keeping the Razorbacks out of system really pays dividends. You don't need to get an ace to have a good serve.
Ole Miss led for a bulk of set 2 before the Razorbacks raced out at the very end to win 25-20. And the Razorbacks have led this entire third set, but Ole Miss trying to rally late to force a fourth. In fact, not only has Arkansas led throughout this third set, there has not even been a single tie, so that's what Ole Miss is efforting to do. Played extremely well over the last 7-8 points.
Talking to Coach Watson this week, we know that the Razorbacks have struggled a bit when siding out when Ryan's in the front row. So we're looking at Ryan in the front row here, and he said it's not because she's a small setter in the front row, just kind of, you know, you only have 2 options in the front row, not as many as you typically have with 3, so never easy to side out when you only have those 2 options, especially when you're not passing very well.
See if the Rebels can continue this run and finish out the set, force a fourth. And exactly what Arkansas did 5 times down to match point in the third set this weekend before winning the third, winning the fourth, winning the fifth. Avery Bug continues behind the line for Ole Miss. Joe Gillen. Schnitte had one, I think, deflect off Gillen.
Yeah, it looked like Schnitte found that seam there right in between Crumpton and Gillen. I can imagine Bars is going to keep going to her middle, Saltemeyer, keep going to that right side Schnitte as much as possible.
Nice run from Bug. Arkansas has handled that pass a little bit better for the first time. And Ole Miss, its first lead in set 3.
The Rebels really doing a nice job blocking, especially as, you know, just as time goes on here this afternoon. Schnitte low and over the net, puts it straight down on the Razorback side.
Razorbacks on their heels. And that one up, and was it down? We have a lift.
Looked like the call was a lift on Crumpton, which is a subjective call. Not sure if we could challenge that or if that's even an option.
Looked like she got the ball up on top and pushed it down rather than turning that wrist over.
All right. Could be that up official may have seen it stick a little bit. Looked pretty good to me, but.
Well, she had her fingers up on top unless she kind of got, I don't know about that.
No, it didn't look like any sticking to me, which is really the only reason I would think that this could be considered a lift.
Belongs to Lauren Thompson. Ole Miss probably felt like they should have won set 2. Arkansas may feel like that for set 3. Gillen will start the scoring here in our 4th.
Nice play by Gillen there again, finding those high hands. The ball ultimately landing in the center of the court, what we sometimes call that donut hole. always difficult kind of deciding who's going to take that ball.
Gracie Ryan has had some nice runs behind the service line. Played up by Bug. First chance we've seen Devin Wheeler now in the middle for the Razorbacks. And an error on the swing from Blair.
Blair a little bit out of sorts there. Looked like she was still trying to hit straight down as she was falling backwards. You're never going to see a whole ton of success when you're trying that.
So Devin Wheeler, again, we saw a lot of her last year. She was in competition. Crumpton and Panfield in that middle. On here in set 4. There's a kill from Soltemeyer.
Again, Soltemeyer on the slide is pretty deadly. She does a really good job finding that deep left corner, kind of almost splitting the Razorback blockers, and it's coming so fast, and it's just such a short distance when you're hitting down the line. You're just trying to get the ball up.
Maggie Miller out of Houston serving for the Rebels. Gillen couldn't put it down. Pokes out of her with the left arm. That was easily put down by Scott. We've seen her become much more of a factor.
Yes, Scott coming in here doing a really good job. We see a cross-court swing. You can tell that Gillen is a little bit late to that triple block. She finds a good area of the court to put it straight down.
Cross-court set, Haley Durgel back in. That one got some hands, I believe. Point Razorbacks.
What a great play there. We saw the pass was well right of center, which is never easy for a setter to push it all the way outside, but Ryan does it effortlessly. It gets all the way to Durgel for her to put it away.
Serve by Gillen was handled by Thompson, but what do we have?
Looked like Bars was in the net there. So Durgel going up for the overpass. Bars trying to defend it and just find some
Still
net.
moving. That net's still bouncing. Second time Thompson's handled that tough serve from Jill. There's the freshman, Taylor Head.
Head, again, doing such a nice job finding that sharp corner shot, and this is exactly what the Razorbacks are trying to do. We have Gillen serving aggressive, getting the Rebels out of system, so they're getting those easy digs and are able to run their offense how they want to run it.
That was too easy for Durgel.
Again, that's all set up by Gillen behind the service line, keeping the Rebels out of system, giving an easy overpass for Durgel to put it away.
I think Ole Miss has had about 10 timeouts in this match. They'll spend one here. It's just not the first one, so I get about 25 on my DVR, the same show. So I don't miss it. And if I do, I get another 24 tries.
Perfect. Can never have too many.
No, never have too many. Ole Miss called the timeout. Durgel had one sent back. Block from Ole Miss.
Razorbacks get an easy ball, defended well by Wheeler, you know, perfect pass, and maybe either the set was a little bit too low or Durgel was a little light. It just felt like everything was just too low. It ends up with an easy block for the Rebels.
Looked like that was long from Lauren Barnes. Barnes with the service error. That's 12 on Ole Miss. Here's Devin Wheeler, senior out of Carrollton, Texas. Started at North Florida. 19 starts a year ago, both as the right hitter and then middle blocker.
Looks like we have a back row attack from Gillen. Looked like her feet might have caught the 10-foot line there as the Razorbacks were out of system.
Here's Anna Bear. Panfield tried to guide that one down. Remember, she was called on it at the end of set 3. So let's go ahead and swing now.
Take another look at Panfield here, finding that wrist away shot. Puts a bug on her heels there.
4 kills, 3 blocks for Panfield. Durgal serving. Well, that was hanging up there a long time for Thompson to come racing over and deposit down.
Good idea from Thompson. Well, those balls are so high, especially both of these teams running such a fast offense. You're not used to those high balls. You're trying to just find a little bit of open court, and it lands. I mean, it looked like less than an inch from the sideline.
Unable to dig it was Evans.
That's their fast offense that they like to run. We see when the ball is in the setter's hands for both sides, we see those outside hitters pretty much on their second step. So they only have 2 more steps to go. Never easy to block those. So that's why we like to play nice and fast.
Bug did a real nice job serving near the end of set 3, hoping to get on one of those runs here in the 4th. And Taylor Head, though, puts the kill down.
Yeah, returning the favor there. Again, pretty similar offensive styles in terms of speed for both of these teams. When it's a perfect pass, it's never going to be easy for the blockers, as you kind of have to just make a decision and go for it since the ball's just so fast to the pin.
Bar sets behind to Schnitter, who deposits one down.
Couple of nice rotations for the Rebels with Schnitter in the front row when we have Saltemeyer as well, both who do so well behind the setter in that right front position.
That was the dandy from Schnitter. It's been about an every other one scenario. See if she can break that trend. She does indeed. That one was handled by Arkansas briefly. Ryan finds Gillen. Ends up in the bench of the Rebels.
What a great play there. Really great set by Ryan out of system. Nice dig by Evan, just getting it high in the middle of the court. Ryan is able to push it all the way outside for Gillen to make a nice big swing, which we all know is what she loves to do.
17 kills for Gillen. That one took a chunk out of Bayer. And an ace for Evans.
What a great serve. We can tell she's going again for that 5-6 seam. So position 6 and 5 in the court, which is the middle back and the left back. The person in left back, Thompson, she's hitting in the front row, so you kind of want to make her stay back there so it's harder for her to hit.
Is that in? Yes. Found some real estate in that back corner from Thompson.
Thompson getting a lot of attempts. Nice job finding that deep corner there to try to get her kills going.
Double-double for Thompson back here in Northwest Arkansas. Fun weekend for her, I'm sure. Gillen played it up. And then Gillen put it down.
What great court awareness by Gillen. It may or may not, or that serve may or may not have gone out, but she decides to play it anyway. Pretty good high pass. And then what great court awareness. The Rebels have their right back playing up. So Schnitter, she's kind of just hanging out at the 10-foot line, which is, I'm assuming, by design. So that leaves that right back corner wide open.
Gillen got her hand on it for a block. Dug by Schnitter. Just unable to play it over the net. Arkansas with a 6-point lead, trying to finish this one out.
Good idea by Schnitter in the back row there, just a little bit too soft.
Gracie Ryan looking for another long run. She dropped that one in.
Yeah, I thought that ball was going to sail out, but it had such a nice float that it just drops just short of that back line. You can see that Thompson is diving out of the way, but it ends up in.
That view's the same one we have, so we're looking through a lot of players at a net. How about another one for Gracie Ryan? What is it about her serves right now, Caitlin, that are causing so many fits?
She just puts it, you know, it's nothing fancy. It's not like the high topspin serve that we see some
that have pushed her, to say the least, and let's hear more.
I think having brothers definitely has helped me become more resilient, and I think that's where, you know, you have your brothers saying, you won't do that, you can't do that, stop. And I think that's where, you know, those little remarks, also when a grown adult is telling you, you won't, you can't, I think that transfers there, and it's like, no, but I can, and I did.
There were still some scars. Just watching her facial expressions. They told me I couldn't, but I can, and I'm going to.
Yes. And she's doing just that.
It's funny, I have a younger daughter who has an older brother, and talking to some coaches, occasionally when they watch her play, they might say, does she have an older brother? Because the assumption is, you've been pushed around a little bit. You had to fight to earn whatever you get from an attention standpoint, whatever it is. I think there's something to that.
Certainly toughens you up.
Arkansas won the first two sets 25-20. Big rally from Ole Miss to force this fourth. Gracie Ryan hoping that by the time she's done serving, she's provided a huge lead for the Hogs. Had a couple of aces though. Ole Miss trying to answer. Durgel flying through there. And the block will be played up by Bars at Ole Miss. Wonder if Gillen can end it here. Bug with the dig. One more time from Gillen. Should have been a double, no? Coach Watson up off the bench wanting an explanation. And Devin Wheeler makes the point moot.
Nice job by Wheeler, making her start here this afternoon in the fourth set. She finds that cross-court shot, does a really good job recognizing that Bars is not up to block, so that spot is wide open.
Dug by Ryan. Gillen has to circle behind Evans. She played on the wrong side of the antenna?
Yeah, it looked like it. Nice dig out of the right back there, nice and high. Just maybe looked like a little bit of miscommunication. Who's going to go where between Evans and Gillen. And yeah, Gillen hitting on the wrong side of the antenna.
Ryan to Durgel. Ryan with 36 assists today, coming off a weekend where she had 108. Gillen not happy. She wears her emotions, honestly. What's going on? Coach Watson doesn't care for that either. I think he's going to use a challenge. Let's see this one again. What transpired?
I believe we're challenging the fact that, so Gillen got the ball up. There might have been an early whistle. So the referee called the ball down, but she got her hand in there before the ball hit the ground.
Seemed like she did.
So yeah, I believe the original play was down. The whistle was blown. And so that obviously stopped the play.
Coach Watson lost a challenge earlier. I think Ole Miss wants an explanation as well on what is being challenged. An intent look on Jason Watson.
Regardless, it was such a nice free ball play. I'd like to see Thompson do that again, just barely clipping the tape to go right to right front. It's exactly where you want to put it when you're giving your opposing team a free ball.
Take one more look. I thought maybe she had crossed the center line, maybe with her hair or something when she flopped over.
Yeah, the hair did go on the center line. I believe that's legal.
Call's overturned, but Arkansas wouldn't get the point, right?
And no, I believe it's just a redo since it was an early whistle. It wasn't a point scoring play.
So it remains 17-9 Arkansas here in our fourth. And then quickly Arkansas, the beneficiary of a service error, number 13.
So that's 13 errors out of 36 attempts, which is certainly a whole lot more than 10%. So we're trending, just 30%. It's really tough to win matches with such a high error clip.
And I'll say it again, when you're ahead, it's one thing. It's another when you're behind and you're desperately clinging to each point. Gillen just returned the favor. She's had a few of those. She's powered through by several feet.
The Arkansas Razorbacks have their own amount of errors as well. 8 service errors on 43 attempts, still quite a ways over that 10 to 12% that we're looking for.
Ole Miss, this was about the time they made a run. I think they were down 18-10 in the third. And Arkansas trying to avoid that happening again.
See Wheeler in the middle, does such a good job finding both corners. So we saw earlier her last kill was at across the body. This time she goes wrist away in the opposite direction. I'm hoping that she's seeing the opposing team's blockers. It looks like she is because she's going where they're not, which is awesome.
Wheeler sent the free ball over. That one hit her shoulder. In front of Wheeler off the hands of Schnitta.
Wheeler with some good digs there. Of course, as a middle blocker, not used to playing that back row defense, but had 2 nice subs, but it looked like that one was just one step away.
And the Bears been busy behind the line. See the digs in this match here in our fourth set. Powerful swing from Haley Durgle.
Nice swing by Durgle there. Never easy. It's a right-handed, right-side hitter to swing line, but she does just that. Finds the left arm of Thompson up there in the front row and ends up with the kill.
There's the kill from Schnitta, that left-handed swinger.
When the Rebels are looking for points, we can expect that they're going to go to Schnitta. We can see Bars is well over into the left side of the court, but she does a good job of still pushing it behind to her hitter with 13 kills and almost a .400 hitting percentage. I would try to get some balls to her as well.
I think I would too. I think that's a good plan. Gillen over that line again. It's a couple times.
To her hitter with 13 kills and almost a .400 hitting percentage. I would try to get some balls to her as well.
I think I would too. I think that's a good plan. Gillen over that line again. It's a couple times she's done that.
Yeah, as a setter, you're trying to lead your back row hitters. You never want to set behind the 10-foot line, but it looked like these are just too far in front. It's causing Gillen to step on the line.
Avery Bugg has had some good runs behind the service line. Can she do it again? Oh, a little bit long. Not much, but enough.
Yeah, like you said, just a little bit there. Falling just outside the corner. Might have been just fewer than a couple inches.
Well, Arkansas closing in on what would be a 3-0 start. And an ace from head. I thought that was going to hit the tape, but somehow it escaped.
This is such a low trajectory, great float serve. Again, they're still going after that 5-6 seam, so in between middle and left back, always a good position to serve. You're trying to, make the middle back talk to the left back to see who's going to take the ball, but that one goes just long.
Service there by Head. Keeps the Rebels alive for the time being. Now Schnitter, her strong, powerful serve. It's handled by Evans. Well, Gillen took just enough off to drop that in.
Great swing by Gillen, but I think that's an even better set by Gracie. She was, well into right back.
Arkansas up 9 late in set 4 with Evans serving. Bars long cross-court set. Ryan got her hand on it, but pushed it out. Old Miss hitting 190 for the match. Hoping they've got a little magic, though, to force a fifth to come back again late in the fourth. On the slide was Devin Wheeler, and that one will end up in the seats on a bounce. Good to see Devin Wheeler getting her chance here in the fourth.
No doubt. Wheeler doing pretty much a nice job wherever she is, hitting at 500, which is fantastic, as we know. So basically every other hit that she hits is a kill. So I can imagine that Ryan's going to be going to her as much as possible, as we just saw a kill on the slide.
Arkansas at match point. Ryan to Durgle, and Ole Miss still alive.
Nice play there. Those hands are low and over on the block from Ole Miss, as Scott comes in, as we've seen some nice blocks from her as well.
It will remain at match point for quite some time if Ole Miss can keep chipping into this deficit. Wheeler lofted one over, but it drifted out.
Wheeler covering herself there, trying to get the dig, and it goes over and just wide.
So Miller trying to continue a run for the Rebs. See if Gillen can end it. And she will. Arkansas wins the match, and they start the season 3-0 in SEC competition.
See Jill with her 20th kill there, hitting just at